Heaven pauses everything around you. The air stills. The noise fades. And for a breathless instant, eternity bends close to whisper your name again. Chosen one. This is the third time heaven has sent this message. It is not coincidence. It is not algorithm. This is divine interruption, the kind that rewrites timelines and awakens sleeping callings. You can feel it, can't you? That weight pressing against your chest, not of fear, but of recognition. The familiar tremor of destiny tugging at your heart, saying, listen, this is your moment. You tried to move on after the first message. You told yourself it was just emotion. You convinced yourself the second one was just another random video. But heaven does not repeat itself for no reason. 3 times. That number is not random. It represents completion, confirmation, resurrection. When God repeats a message, it is because your assignment cannot afford another delay. The heavens are echoing with urgency. Do not scroll past this moment. Lay, beloved. The truth that was hidden in the first 2 calls returns now with unshakable clarity because mercy still fights for you. You are being resummoned. Not because you failed, but because you are too important to be lost. The third call means the gates of restoration are still open, but barely. Time has been stretched. Grace has been extended. And the angels assigned to your name are once again circling you, making sure you hear what must be heard. You are not ordinary. You never were. That is why your journey has been so strange. Your storms, so personal. Others could wander and seem blessed. But when you wander, the whole atmosphere shifts. Heaven cannot let you drift without resistance, because you carry something divine inside you, a seed, a scroll, a mission the earth still waits for. And until you rise, the assignment tied to your name remains incomplete. Listen carefully. There are divine moments when heaven presses pause not to punish, but to protect. This is one of them. You were about to make decisions in fatigue, to walk away from your calling, thinking the silence meant rejection. But heaven has paused your distractions so that revelation can reach you. This pause is proof of love. God is saying, before you move again, hear me. Oh, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. The third message comes not to repeat the past, but to reveal the hidden reason behind your pain. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every betrayal, they were divine delays, not denials. The appointed time was waiting for your maturity, not your perfection. Heaven withheld certain blessings until you could carry them without breaking under the weight. This is that moment. You are standing at the edge of destiny's cliff, one decision away from the greatest transformation of your life. The Lord is asking, will you listen this time? The third call means your name has been mentioned again in the courts of heaven. The records are being reviewed. Mercy is being debated. And your obedience is the deciding factor. When heaven calls your name 3 times, it is no longer an invitation. It is an awakening. Feel that stirring in your spirit. It's not emotion. It's alignment. The angels are realigning what the enemy tried to scatter. Every piece of your story is being summoned back into order. The chaos you've endured wasn't random. It was the sound of heaven reconstructing your purpose. You thought everything was falling apart, but it was falling into place. Chosen one. This is your moment to respond. Not later. Not tomorrow now. You've delayed long enough. Doubted long enough. Hidden long enough. Heaven will not beg forever. But right now, mercy still speaks. Grace still knocks. This is not condemnation. It is divine insistence. You are being reminded of who you are before the world told you who to be. Your story is not over. It's restarting. And this third message, the final truth, is heaven's way of saying, we haven't given up on you. So pause. Feel the stillness. Let every word sink deep. Heaven is watching, waiting to see your response. If you receive this confirmation in your spirit, like, share, and comment below the number 333, a prophetic act that declares, I hear you, Lord, for the third time, and this time I will not turn away. Then, subscribe and stay connected to this flow of revelation. For what follows will shake your understanding of destiny itself. This is heaven's pause, your divine reset. You are the chosen one, and heaven refuses to move on without you. You remember the first whisper, the one that came when your life felt loud and uncertain. It wasn't thunder or vision, it was a quiet voice. Almost like a thought you didn't author. You brushed it aside, thinking you were too busy, too unworthy, too uncertain to respond. The second call came later, through circumstances you could not explain, doors that slammed shut just before disaster, relationships that fell apart, so something deeper could survive. And now, this third reminder pierces through every layer of noise. Heaven is repeating itself, not because you didn't hear, but because you didn't believe it was real. You tried to forget. You tried to bury the feeling that your life was meant for something greater. You told yourself that the pain had no meaning, that your trials were random storms. But deep inside, something never stopped pulsing, a divine heartbeat echoing in your spirit, waiting for the moment you would finally admit, I heard him. And this third message doesn't come as comfort, it comes as confirmation. The same patterns that once confused you now start to make sense. That door that refused to open, that friend who betrayed you, that opportunity that vanished, it all begins to align under one truth. Heaven never lost sight of you. You were not ignored. You were being prepared. Every delay, every loss, every tear, none of it was wasted. Heaven was carving depth into your soul, shaping endurance in your heart, because your calling required it. Others may have received quicker blessings, but you were being built for eternal impact. God wasn't ignoring you, He was refining you. You see now that every time you tried to run from your destiny, the same presence followed you. Whether in the night's silence or in the middle of chaos, that whisper never faded. It kept finding you. It found you in heartbreak, in loss, in fear, in success. It wasn't punishment, it was pursuit. There's something sacred about the ones God refuses to let go of. You may stumble, you may doubt, you may resist, but heaven has already written your name into the storyline of redemption. And until you step into that role, heaven keeps sending reminders. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. plans, to prosper you, and not to harm you, to give you hope. You realize now that the voice calling you wasn't random. It was the author reminding you of your script. Every detour was part of the divine design. The pain wasn't to destroy you, but to empty you of everything false, so that truth could dwell within you. You've been running from the very thing you were created to embody, purpose. And yet, even in your rebellion, heaven kept sending help. When you were too weak to pray, someone prayed for you. When you couldn't lift your hands, grace lifted your head. You didn't see it, but God was protecting your timeline. What should have broken you became the evidence of His covering. This third message is not about guilt, it's about awakening. You are beginning to see that your pain has been your prophecy. Every time life broke you, it was preparing you for the responsibility of carrying divine truth. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out, marked by both scars and glory. And now, the third reminder feels different. It's not just a voice, it's recognition. You recognize the cadence of heaven, the tone that has followed you for years. It feels like home, like something ancient, calling you back to the place you left in spirit. This is not nostalgia, it's divine recall. You start to realize that forgetting those earlier messages was not failure, it was part of the pattern. Because when heaven speaks again, it speaks with multiplied clarity. What was once a whisper is now a declaration. What was once a nudge is now an assignment. The delay has matured you. The third call has positioned you. And as you stand here, in this pause between what was and what's next, you understand. The same God who spoke before is speaking now, not with anger, but with promise. You may have tried to forget, but heaven never did. The third message is not just repetition, it's resurrection. There are moments when mercy lingers longer than it should, moments when heaven delays justice just to give you one more chance to turn around. You have lived through more of those moments than you realize. Every time disaster missed you by inches, every time a plan failed just before it could destroy you, mercy was standing there, whispering, "Not yet, they still have a purpose." You see, the weight of repeated mercy is not light. It presses against the soul. It humbles the heart. It asks you to see beyond coincidence. Grace is not a loophole, it is an assignment. Every time God covered you, He wasn't excusing you, He was extending time for revelation. Heaven doesn't waste its resources. When grace visits repeatedly, it's because your calling carries a consequence too heavy to ignore. The world calls it luck, but heaven calls it divine delay. You should have been broken, but something invisible kept repairing you. You should have fallen deeper, but somehow you were pulled back from the edge. That was mercy's hand, not your strength, not your wisdom mercy. And that mercy comes with memory. Heaven remembers every time you cried out and said, "If you save me this time, I'll never go back." It remembers, not to accuse, but to remind you that your heart once knew surrender. The reason this third message feels heavier is because it carries every moment of unfulfilled promise you ever made to God. The pause is not punishment, it's a reckoning of grace. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. "I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live, and This is where you begin to see that mercy was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to lead you to movement. Grace delays judgment, but it doesn't erase it. The Lord has been patient, watching, waiting, hoping for your yes. Yet even his patience has purpose. It's designed to stir repentance, not comfort delay. You've carried the weight of forgiveness for years, but you've misunderstood its power. Forgiveness is not freedom to wander, it's permission to return. And heaven is calling you home, not just to safety, but to assignment. The repeated mercy wasn't to make you feel better, it was to ensure you'd be ready when truth finally arrived. Beloved, mercy doesn't repeat forever. There comes a day when it transforms into accountability. The third call marks that shift. It's not wrath, it's revelation. Heaven is saying, now that you know, what will you do with it? You may feel the pull between regret and hope, between the past that tried to define you and the future that is begging for your yes. And yet, even now, mercy is still speaking. It's saying, don't waste this repetition, because if heaven has called you 3 times, it's because your life carries a ripple effect beyond your imagination. Others are attached to your obedience. Your surrender doesn't just restore you, it sets captives free. So take a moment now and type in the comments, I choose life. 9. Not as a cliché, but as a declaration, because those 3 words are not just text, they are covenant. When you write them, you align yourself with the decree spoken in Deuteronomy. You say to heaven, I will not keep repeating the same cycles of hesitation. I will live. I will obey. I will rise. Your comment becomes a prophetic act, a digital altar of surrender, marking the moment when you finally stopped running from your own redemption. Mercy has carried you to this edge, but only obedience can take you forward. The next move is not up to heaven, it's up to you. And as you make it, remember this: every time mercy delayed consequence, heaven was preparing reward. What feels like warning is actually invitation. You are being invited into a new timeline where grace is no longer just your safety net, it becomes your launch pad. You've been protected long enough. Now you are being prepared to lead. The same mercy that shielded you will soon flow through you. You will become the vessel that carries compassion to those who are lost. Because you know what it means to be found 3 times. Chosen one. The repetition is ending. Mercy has spoken its last warning and its greatest promise. This is your moment to answer back. Not with excuses, but with choice. Say it once more in your spirit firm. Final. Fearless. I choose life. There is a war that no one sees. A silent conflict that doesn't make headlines but decides destinies. You felt it without understanding it, the restlessness that comes and goes, the heaviness that presses on your chest at random hours, the moments when peace feels foreign and confusion feels familiar. That is not coincidence. That is the battle for your soul. From the outside, you may seem calm, functioning, even blessed, but inside, your spirit has been under siege. Every time you tried to rise, something unseen tried to pull you back down. Every time you came close to breakthrough, an invisible resistance appeared. You've been fighting shadows without knowing their names, wrestling with doubts that weren't entirely your own. And now, heaven is pulling back the curtain, revealing what you could not see. The war isn't around you, it's over you. The forces that oppose you know your potential. They've studied your patterns, your weaknesses, your fears. They know that once you truly awaken, their influence over you ends. That is why confusion became your companion. That is why distraction felt endless. Because if the enemy can't destroy you, he'll distract you until you destroy yourself. But heaven refuses to let that happen. The reason this message keeps finding you, the reason it echoes through your spirit, is because heaven has issued a counterattack. Your name is being defended. The prayers of those who love you have been recorded in divine archives, and they are being activated in this season. What was meant to blind you will now reveal you. You've wondered why the struggle intensified when you started seeking clarity, why the nights became longer just as you began to hope again. It's because light exposed darkness. Every step you take toward obedience disrupts an ancient strategy designed to keep you silent. You've been targeted because you're dangerous to darkness. Your light unsettles what others tolerate. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. That single sentence shifts everything. You are not fighting alone. You never were. The stillness God asks for isn't passivity, it's trust. It's surrender to divine command in the middle of chaos. You've spent years trying to fix battles that were never yours to win by force. But now heaven says, be still. Let the commander of hosts fight for you. Let him reclaim the territory your fear surrendered. There is a pattern in your life, right before elevation. Warfare multiplies. That is not punishment, it's confirmation. Every great unveiling is preceded by resistance. The presence of opposition means you are approaching something holy. Don't mistake attack for abandonment. It's actually proof of significance. Think back to the moments you almost gave up. Those were not random breakdowns, they were intersections of heaven and hell. Moments when both sides saw the potential of your yes. When you felt weakest, the heavens were closest, watching whether you would fold or rise. And even when you faltered, the Spirit interceded, whispering your name before the throne. You are part of a lineage of fighters, not with swords, but with faith. Every tear shed in secret has become a weapon. Every time you chose forgiveness instead of bitterness, light expanded within you. You thought those were small acts, but in the spiritual realm, they were nuclear strikes against darkness. The unseen war has been shaped by your unseen obedience. And yet, the enemy keeps trying to convince you that you are losing. He shows you delay and calls it defeat. He magnifies isolation and calls it abandonment. But what if heaven's silence wasn't absence? What if it was strategy? Sometimes the commander hides his movements, so the enemy cannot predict the attack. You've mistaken divine stealth for divine distance. In this war, the most dangerous soldier is the one who learns to wait. Waiting isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Because in stillness, you can hear commands that chaos tries to drown. You are being trained to discern heaven's movements. Not every call to action comes from God. Some are traps designed to exhaust your spirit. Now heaven reveals something deeper. You have already won more battles than you know. You survived the ones you didn't even see. You were shielded from arrows you never felt. And that's why you're still standing. If you could see the battlefield of your life from heaven's view, you would fall to your knees in gratitude. The very fact that you're reading these words means the darkness failed. So do not be afraid of the unseen war. The one who commands angels fights for you even now. Let the noise of doubt fade. Let your heart rest. The same voice that thundered at the Red Sea now speaks over you. Be still. Because stillness is not the end of movement, it's the beginning of victory. There is a reason you were chosen out of order. You were never meant to follow the pattern of the crowd. Heaven wrote your name into a sequence that didn't make sense to human timing. Others seem to arrive before you receive, blessings before you, succeed before you, and you questioned why your path looked like delay. But delay was disguise. What looked like lateness was actually precision. Heaven was hiding you until the appointed hour. The truth is, chosen one, your story was always meant to be different. You weren't designed to move in rhythm with the world, but in cadence with eternity. That's why the world never understood you. You've walked through seasons of silence where God seemed distant, yet those were the very moments He was building your foundation beneath the surface. You were the seed no one noticed, buried, unseen, but destined to rise when others withered. You were chosen out of order because your mission required mystery. Heaven couldn't expose you too soon. If you had risen before your roots deepened, the wind of trials would have broken you. Every heartbreak, every delay, every quiet night was heaven's classroom. You were learning endurance in secret, so you could lead in strength. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 9, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Oh, you see it now, the divine choreography of your chaos. Every misstep led you to a revelation. Every detour redirected you into destiny. What others called failure, heaven called formation. And now, that hidden construction begins to shine through you. When you were younger, you wanted your life to make sense. You wanted answers, linear progress, visible rewards. But chosen ones rarely walk in straight lines. Your path spirals like a storm, circles like a planet, burns like gold in the fire. Because heaven doesn't just use you, it refines you. Imagine a potter shaping clay, his hands pressing, pulling, stretching. The clay resists at first, thinking the pressure is punishment. But if the potter stops too soon, the vessel will collapse under heat. You are that vessel. God's hands have shaped your edges, carved your purpose, and every pressure was proof that you were still being held. And just as the potter doesn't rush the process, heaven didn't rush you. You were hidden for protection, not rejection. When others ran ahead, you were told to wait, not because you were behind, but because you were being aligned. The order of man means nothing in the kingdom of God. In heaven's calendar, the first can be last, and the last can be first. Now, your season of concealment begins to end. The same hands that shaped you in silence are about to lift you into visibility. But visibility is not applause, it's assignment. The spotlight of heaven exposes purpose, not ego. And when you shine, you do not shine for attention, you shine to illuminate paths for those still wandering in darkness. Beloved, if these words find you in that in-between place where you're half ready, half afraid, know this: the same God who chose you out of order is about to reveal why. Everything you thought disqualified you was actually preparation. Every rejection refined your discernment. Every delay deepened your strength. You are the seed that survived winter. You are the flame that learned to burn against the wind. You are the voice that still speaks after silence. And heaven looks at you and says, "Now, Ardu, this is where your obedience meets opportunity. Heaven has invested in your journey. And now the world will see the return of that investment through your life. If these words stir something within you, if you feel heaven's whisper in your chest right now, respond in faith. Not just with emotion, but with action. Support this light as you would tend a flame in the dark. When you like these messages, it isn't vanity, it's visibility. Each click of faith pushes the message farther, reaching another lost soul who thinks God has forgotten them. When you share, you scatter seeds across digital soil. Someone's deliverance may depend on your post. When you subscribe, you don't just follow a page, you stay connected to the flow of revelation that keeps your spirit nourished. And if heaven stirs your heart to donate, do it, not out of duty but devotion. Consider it a small stone in the altar of this mission, a way of saying, Lord, I believe this light must keep burning. Every offering, no matter how small, is like oil in the lamp. It keeps the flame alive in places algorithms cannot reach. You have always been part of something divine. This message is not entertainment, it's an echo from eternity. And your participation is a prophetic act of alignment. When you give, when you share, when you stay, you're helping heaven's story continue through the lives still waiting to awaken. So, chosen one, stand tall in your difference. You were chosen out of order because your timing is heaven's masterpiece. The world may call it delay, but heaven calls it divine design. The first shall be last, and the last when God says, now shall rise, crowned in purpose. There's a pattern you've started to notice, those late-night awakenings, the quiet stirring at the same hour, when the world sleeps, but your spirit suddenly sits up alert. You've wondered why it happens, why your mind clears and your heart races as though something unseen is trying to speak. That hour isn't random. It's the meeting time of heaven and earth. The moment when the veil between the seen and the unseen thins. Chosen one. The reason you wake is because heaven is calling your attention. The voice you hear at 3 amperes, that whisper that repeats your name, isn't imagination. It's invitation. There are scrolls in the spirit written about your destiny, and at that sacred hour, heaven opens them before you, asking, will you read what is written about you? The world calls it insomnia, but heaven calls it instruction. When your body can't rest, it's often because your spirit isn't finished listening. You think it's your thoughts racing, but it's revelation knocking. You're not being haunted, you're being summoned. God wakes his chosen ones at strange hours because revelation rarely fits into routine. Think of Samuel, who heard his name called 3 times in the night before realizing it was the Lord. Like him, you've mistaken the voice for something ordinary, but the truth is extraordinary. Heaven has chosen your solitude as its classroom. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 63, verse 6. On my bed I remember you. I think of you through the watches of the night. Thus, every chosen soul learns to interpret the language of the night. The silence becomes scripture. The darkness becomes dialogue. While others dream, you are being trained to discern. The same voice that shaped the cosmos is shaping your heart, sentence by sentence, whisper by whisper. You might not realize it yet, but that hour has been keeping you alive. It's when heaven checks your pulse, spiritually and emotionally. The whisper isn't meant to scare you, It's meant to save you. It's the divine equivalent of a doctor's hand on your heart saying, "Still beating, still chosen." Sometimes, what you hear is correction. Other times, it's comfort. But always, it's connection. Heaven wakes you because you carry too much light to stay asleep. You are being trained for prophetic awareness, to feel when the atmosphere shifts, to sense when divine movement begins. That's why your sleep is light and your spirit restless. It's responding to the rhythm of eternity. You may ask, what am I supposed to do when I wake? The answer is simple. Respond. You don't have to perform grand rituals or recite perfect prayers. Just whisper, "I'm listening." Those 2 words unlock more revelation than hours of religious effort. When you acknowledge the call, the conversation continues. When you ignore it, the silence returns, but never forever. Because heaven is persistent with its own. This hour of visitation will not always last. One day, when the message is complete, sleep will return peacefully. But for now, the night watches are your classroom, and your heart is the notebook where heaven writes. Each awakening is another chapter in your spiritual training, a reminder that you are being equipped for something far greater than yourself. Do you know why the whisper repeats? Because heaven measures readiness by responsiveness. When you start to answer quicker, the message deepens. When you delay, it returns. That's why this is the 3rd divine message, and not the first. You're finally ready to hear the rest. So when your eyes open in the stillness again, don't reach for your phone. Don't drown it with noise. Sit in that sacred hush. Let the Spirit finish what it started. Sometimes all He wants to say is, "I'm still here." And sometimes, that's all you need to know. In those moments, light may fill your thoughts. Visions may flicker behind your eyelids. Memories may resurface with sudden meaning. Pay attention. Heaven speaks in symbols. What you see isn't random. It's revelation disguised as dream residue. The number of the clock. The verse that crosses your mind. The feeling in your chest. All of it speaks in heaven's alphabet. And tonight, as you read these words, the message becomes clear. You are not being woken to be burdened. You are being woken to be awakened. The hour of visitation is a seal of favor, not fear. It's heaven saying, you've been chosen to hear what others sleep through. Now, chosen one, make your response visible to heaven. Comment below the number 777, a prophetic sign of divine completion and spiritual perfection. It's not superstition, it's agreement. When you write it, you echo heaven's affirmation that your spirit has heard the call. Let it be your signature on the scroll being opened tonight. The night no longer belongs to fear, it belongs to revelation. You are no longer restless, you are ready. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when what was hidden must finally be revealed. You've sensed it for years, that feeling that something in the unseen was waiting for the right time to be made known. That time is now. Heaven is unsealing the hidden scroll written with your name, the one recorded before your birth, the one that carries the true reason you were sent here. You were not born by accident, not placed where you are by chance. Every coordinate of your existence was written with divine precision. The people you met, the places you've walked, even the pain you endured, all were lines in that scroll, scripted for a higher purpose. You've read fragments of it in dreams, felt traces of it in déjà vu, caught whispers of it during prayer. But now the full revelation begins to unfold. The scroll is symbolic of destiny, the divine record that carries both instruction and inheritance. For a long time, yours remained sealed because your understanding was not yet ready. A scroll can only be read by one whose heart has been purified by surrender. That's why heaven let you walk through refining fires. Through seasons that stripped you of pride and self-sufficiency. You had to lose what was temporary so you could inherit what was eternal. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Revelation, chapter 5, verse 5. Do not weep. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has triumphed. He is able to open the scroll and its 7 seals. Monter. This verse is more than history, it's prophecy. The Lion of Judah, who opened the eternal scrolls, is now opening yours, not literally on parchment, but within your spirit. The same power that unsealed divine mysteries in heaven is now unlocking the mysteries of your life. You've wondered why certain things didn't make sense before, why opportunities appeared and disappeared, why relationships ended suddenly, why dreams seemed to shift direction. It's because heaven was waiting to reveal the greater storyline behind them. The hidden scroll explains it all. You were being written into something beyond your understanding. Every chosen one carries a revelation that the world needs, a piece of divine wisdom that no one else can release. That's why your battles have been so specific, your pain so personal. The enemy has always tried to close the scroll of your destiny by convincing you to stay silent, by making you believe your story didn't matter. But heaven never forgot the ink that was used to write your purpose. It is indelible, etched in eternity. Now, as the seals break, your understanding begins to expand. You start to see connections between past and present, between who you were and who you're becoming. Things that once felt random now form a pattern. It's like standing before a tapestry, realizing the messy threads on the back were actually weaving beauty on the front. Revelation isn't always loud. Sometimes it arrives as a gentle clarity, a sudden peace that replaces confusion. Other times, it comes like thunder swift, shaking, undeniable. However it comes, it never leaves you the same. Once the hidden scroll opens within you, you cannot return to blindness. And that is where you are now, between blindness and sight, between silence and song. Heaven is reading your scroll aloud, and every word spoken from it redefines who you are. You will begin to sense a new authority in your voice. Not arrogance, but clarity. Because when you know what's written about you, fear loses its vocabulary. You'll notice that even your prayers begin to change. You stop asking for random blessings and start aligning with written purpose. You no longer pray for escape, you pray for endurance. You stop begging for open doors, you ask for discernment to walk through the right ones. That is what happens when revelation replaces assumption. This unveiling won't come all at once. Heaven never reveals the whole scroll in a single night. Revelation is progressive. It arrives in layers, each one preparing you for the next. Every time you respond with obedience, another seal breaks. Every time you worship through confusion, another line glows brighter. So don't fear what's being revealed. Truth can shake, but it doesn't shatter, it liberates. The hidden scroll doesn't expose to embarrass, it exposes to elevate. Heaven is showing you not what you've lost, but what was always yours. You are stepping into the season of unveiling. where everything concealed now carries divine clarity. And when you finally read your life through heaven's handwriting, you'll understand why the delay was necessary, why the silence was sacred, and why the pain was purposeful. The scroll is opening. Chosen one, heaven is speaking. Listen carefully, because what you're about to understand will change how you see everything. You stand before the mirror, and for the first time in a long while, you are forced to look, truly look. The reflection staring back isn't the one the world sees. It's the version of you heaven has been shaping through every quiet storm. You trace the lines of your face, the weariness in your eyes, the faint but undeniable glow of resilience that has survived everything meant to destroy you. This is the mirror of accountability, the sacred space where excuses lose their voice and truth finally speaks. For too long, you've been running from this moment. It's easier to fight external battles than to confront the internal ones. It's easier to blame circumstance than to admit compromise. But the mirror never lies. It reflects what words conceal. And now, heaven is holding it up, not to shame you, but to awaken you, because before elevation comes examination, before crowns come confrontations. It's not condemnation, it's clarity. The Spirit is inviting you into honest reflection, because the person you've become is not a mistake, but not the final version either. Every scar is a verse in your redemption story. Every weakness that makes you wince in shame can become a testimony of grace if you'll stop pretending it doesn't exist. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 13, verse 12. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. Oh, that verse is not just poetic, it's prophetic. It tells you that your current understanding is partial, that what you see of yourself now is only a glimpse. Heaven already knows the full version of you, the you who has finished the race, the you who walks in authority and purity, the you who carries light without apology. You are being invited to align your reflection with that reality. You might notice how uncomfortable honesty feels. The ego resists exposure. The flesh trembles when truth approaches. But that trembling isn't weakness, it's evidence that transformation has begun. The old self feels threatened because it knows its days are numbered. This mirror moment isn't just about your flaws, it's about your faith. Because every divine reflection shows both imperfection and potential. You see where you fell, but you also see where you can rise. You see what's broken, but you also glimpse the hands waiting to mend it. Heaven never shows you your reflection to condemn it, shows you so you can collaborate with grace. Do you see now how God has been patient with you, how He's waited through seasons when you hid behind busyness, behind pride, behind fear? Every time you turned away from this mirror, mercy turned it back toward you. Heaven never wanted to humiliate you, it wanted to heal you. There's power in admitting truth privately before you ever declare it publicly. The world is obsessed with appearances, but heaven is obsessed with authenticity. The anointing you carry thrives in honesty. When you allow the Spirit to search you, to point out the motives and habits that don't belong, you make room for divine renewal. This process is not gentle, but it is glorious. To face yourself with honesty is to invite resurrection. You will grieve some versions of yourself, the impulsive, defensive, fearful ones, but as they die, new strength will rise in their place. Heaven cannot fill what pride refuses to empty. The mirror doesn't only show what needs to change, it reveals what must never be forgotten. Your endurance. Look again. You've survived rejection, betrayal, silence, and still you stand. You've doubted your worth and still chosen love. You've fallen more than once, but grace kept pulling you upright. The reflection may show your humanity, but it also radiates heaven's mercy. Every chosen one reaches this threshold. The mirror is the gate to maturity, and you are standing before it now. Once you pass through it, you will never again see yourself as ordinary. You'll stop measuring your worth by applause and start measuring it by alignment. You'll stop chasing validation and start cultivating vision. This is not a moment of self-pity, it's a moment of self-recognition. Heaven isn't asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to be present, to stop pretending you don't need grace, to accept that the same God who reveals truth is the one who restores dignity. You are not what your reflection once represented. You are what grace is shaping. The mirror isn't showing you failure, it's showing you formation. And as you face it without fear, heaven smiles, knowing that this moment, this confrontation with truth, is the beginning of your freedom. Look again. Chosen one. You'll see it now. The reflection staring back isn't a reminder of what you were. It's a preview of who you are becoming. There's a quiet warning echoing through your spirit tonight, a sound that doesn't frighten, but sobers. It's the realization that ignoring the divine call is not a neutral act. Every time you postpone obedience, something sacred pauses with you. The plans that were ready to unfold linger mid-air, waiting for your yes. You've been shielded by mercy longer than you know, but heaven's patience carries purpose, not permanence. The consequence of ignoring the call isn't sudden destruction, it's silent decay. It's the slow fading of clarity, the quiet dimming of the inner light that once burned with conviction. The world distracts you just enough to make delay feel harmless. But delay is how destiny dissolves. Heaven's warnings don't thunder, they whisper. Because love always speaks softly first. At first, the missed call feels small. You promise you'll answer later. When life is calmer, when your heart is less tired. But time isn't a toy, it's a sacred resource. Every ignored whisper shapes the next season. And soon, the same voice that once called to lead you forward becomes the voice that calls to remind you of what was lost. Chosen one. You must understand, obedience isn't about control, it's about connection. When heaven calls, it's not demanding submission, it's inviting alignment. God's will doesn't trap you, it frees you from counterfeit paths. Every divine command is a doorway, but each delay builds another wall around your own spirit. The Word of God declares in the book of Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 15, "Today, if you hear His voice, do not harden your hearts as you did in the rebellion." That verse carries both tenderness and thunder. It reminds you that hearing is holy, but responding is sacred. You cannot claim to love the voice you continually silence. The greatest tragedy is not disobedience alone, it's deafness born from delay. Hearts harden quietly, not through hate, but through hesitation. There's still time, but time is shifting. You can feel it. The air around your spirit feels heavier, charged, as if heaven is waiting for your final answer. And it is. Every chosen soul reaches this crossroads where grace stops pulling and begins watching, not because God abandons, but because He honors free will. Love never forces obedience, it waits to be chosen. Think about how many times you've felt the nudge, the sudden thought, the vivid dream, the sense that you were meant to do something greater. And then, think of how often you brushed it aside, telling yourself, not yet. But heaven doesn't operate on human schedules. When the appointed time arrives, response becomes the only language heaven understands. You are at that moment again. The third message wasn't sent to scare you, it was sent to awaken you, to make you realize that you're standing on the border of before and after, of almost and arrival. If you keep waiting, the windows that once stood open may close, not out of cruelty, but completion. Grace doesn't vanish, it simply moves to those willing to carry it forward. Still, this is not a message of despair, it's an invitation wrapped in warning. You're being called not just to obedience, but to purpose. The cost of ignoring the call is not just personal, it's generational. Your yes doesn't only rescue you, it reroutes everything connected to you. The people attached to your destiny, the lives your light was meant to touch, they're waiting too. So pause. Feel that tremor in your chest. It's recognition. Heaven's call has returned to your door. One more time. Don't let hesitation answer for you. Don't let comfort become your cage. You've seen enough cycles to know where disobedience leads. Exhaustion, confusion, emptiness. But obedience, even when costly, always leads home. This is that homecoming moment. This is where heaven stops negotiating and starts observing, and your next move will echo louder than your past mistakes ever could. Now, let your spirit respond. Comment below, I hear you. In song, not as repetition, but as revelation. When you type those 3 words, you're not speaking to me, you're responding to heaven itself. You're acknowledging that the voice hasn't faded, that your heart isn't hardened. Those words break delay's spell. They tear down the invisible walls built by procrastination. I hear you isn't compliance, it's covenant. It says, I will not ignore again what I was born to answer. Let that be your declaration tonight. Let it echo through the unseen, because the moment you choose to hear again, everything, heaven paused, begins to move once more. The doors start unlocking, the light returns, and the silence becomes song. Don't wait for another reminder. You are standing on holy ground, the space between mercy extended and destiny activated. Heaven is watching, not with anger, but with anticipation. And when you finally whisper back, I hear you, all of heaven smiles, knowing the delay is over. The air feels different now. You can sense it, a divine stillness wrapped in tension, like the pause before dawn breaks. This is the place of covenant and crossroad. Heaven has brought you here, not by coincidence, but by orchestration. Everything in your story, every detour and delay, has been leading to this intersection where promise and choice meet face to face. Covenant is not a contract, it's a commitment sealed in unseen ink. It's when heaven and earth clasp hands through your obedience. At this crossroad, you are being asked not merely to believe, but to belong, to align your life with divine design. It's the difference between knowing God's words and living them. You've stood here before, but perhaps fear made you retreat. Fear of surrender, fear of loss, fear of what you might have to leave behind. Yet this time, heaven stands waiting, not impatiently, but with quiet confidence, because heaven knows you're finally ready to choose. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 5, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing." But every covenant demands clarity. The crossroad tests loyalty not to expose your weakness, but to anchor your faith. You're not choosing between good and bad. You're choosing between good and God, between comfort and calling. One path looks safe, the other looks uncertain, but carries divine fingerprints. Heaven will never manipulate you, but it will always invite you. Think of this moment like standing at a river's edge. The current looks strong, the water deep, and your instincts whisper, "Wet," but the voice of God says, "Step in." What you fear as drowning is actually baptism, a washing away of the old self so the new can rise. Every great journey begins with a step that feels like surrender. Beloved, you have no idea how many angels have gathered to witness this decision. They are not watching to judge, but to record. Heaven keeps records not to remind you of your failures, but to document your faith. Every time you say yes to divine direction, something shifts in both realms. This is your yes moment. This is where you stop negotiating with destiny and start walking with it. Don't underestimate the significance of small obedience. Even a whisper of surrender can echo through eternity. And as you walk this path, remember, you are not walking alone. A covenant is never one-sided. Heaven walks with you, step by step, through uncertainty, through loss, through renewal. The covenant doesn't promise ease, it promises presence. Now, if this message resonates within your spirit, if something in these words feels like home, let your agreement be known. Like this message, not for numbers, but as a digital Amen. Every click is like lighting a candle that helps someone else find their way out of darkness. When you share, think of it as sowing seeds into unknown soil. Somewhere, someone scrolling through despair may find this message and realize that heaven hasn't forgotten them. Your share becomes a bridge between their silence and God's whisper. If you subscribe, you're not just following, you're staying aligned. You're choosing to remain connected to a stream of revelation that feeds your faith in a noisy world. Every message becomes a reminder that you're part of something eternal, not accidental. And if heaven stirs you to donate, let it come from the same heart that gives back to the source of light. Donations are not transactions, they're translations of gratitude. Each act of giving keeps the flame alive, helping these words reach souls you may never meet. Think of it like adding oil to a lamp that burns across nations. The light that guided you can now guide another. At this crossroad, the choice isn't about following a message, it's about embodying it. You are stepping into covenant, not with a voice on a screen, but with the one who called your name in eternity. Heaven doesn't need your perfection, it desires your participation. This is where you trade confusion for clarity, hesitation for harmony. You're not losing freedom, you're discovering true liberty. The kind that comes when your will and God's will finally intertwine. So breathe deep. The covenant waits like an open door, its hinges oiled by grace. When you step through, Everything behind you begins to fade, not because it's forgotten, but because it's fulfilled. Chosen one, this is not the end of your journey, it's the renewal of it. The covenant doesn't bind you, it births you anew. And as you take this step, know this: every like, every share, every act of support becomes part of heaven's movement through you. You are not just crossing a line, you are becoming one. There comes a point when heaven waits no longer. It's not that grace runs out, it's that purpose demands movement. You've been carried by mercy for so long that it's easy to mistake its patience for permission. But mercy is not meant to be a mattress, it's meant to be a bridge. You can rest on it for a while, but eventually, you must cross. This is that moment, the stillness before the shift. Heaven has been waiting, watching, aligning circumstances, people, and timing for your next step. Yet there is a divine line between waiting on God and making God wait on you. The difference is subtle but sacred. When heaven pauses, it's never indecision, it's invitation. You feel it now, don't you? That quiet urgency rising in your chest. The sense that something is changing in the spiritual atmosphere. It's not anxiety, it's acceleration. What you're feeling is heaven's momentum pressing against the threshold of your hesitation. The season of gentle nudges is ending. The season of undeniable movement is beginning. You see, mercy always moves first. It goes ahead of judgment, clearing a path, softening hearts, extending chances. But there comes a time when mercy steps aside to let justice and truth take their rightful place. That's not cruelty, it's completion. Even divine patience has a purpose, and once that purpose is fulfilled, the story shifts. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 6. Seek the Lord while he may be found, call on him while he is near. End of can. Those words carry both beauty and warning. While he may be found implies that the window is not forever. Opportunities, both spiritual and earthly, are sacred windows, not revolving doors. They open for a reason, for a season. And when the purpose of that moment passes, so does the access. This isn't meant to provoke fear, but awareness. The third message you've received is not a reminder, it's a reckoning. It signifies that heaven's timeline is intersecting yours once more. But this time, the alignment demands decision, not emotion, not curiosity, commitment. You've learned by now that divine silence doesn't mean absence. When God grows quiet, he's often watching to see what you'll do with what he already said. And now, heaven is watching again, not with judgmental eyes, but with eyes of expectation. The angels who once shielded you from consequence now stand as witnesses to your response. You may feel the pressure of this moment and mistake it for fear, but it's actually reverence. Something in your spirit knows this is holy ground, the edge where potential becomes purpose. The air feels heavier because eternity leans close, listening for your answer. This is what it means when heaven waits no longer. It's not punishment, it's progression. It means the script has been ready for too long, the stage prepared, the lights lit, and the audience, both human and celestial, awaits your entrance. Heaven doesn't want to start the next act without its chosen one. If you hesitate too long, you risk missing not salvation, but synchronization. Timing in the kingdom is everything. There are blessings attached to obedience within seasons. And when the season closes, the blessings tied to that timing close with it. Heaven doesn't stop loving you, but the rhythm shifts. Some doors won't reopen because their purpose has already been fulfilled in the timeline of eternity. But the grace of this message is that you're still within the window. The words reaching you now are proof. Heaven wouldn't speak if it had moved on. The fact that you feel the pull means the door hasn't shut. The stillness before judgment isn't silence, it's mercy's last embrace. And yet, the tone of heaven has changed. What was once a whisper of encouragement is now a command of alignment. You are being summoned, not simply invited, because heaven knows what's waiting on the other side of your obedience. People who will be freed, lives that will be healed, atmospheres that will shift. Chosen one, this is no longer about you alone. The time of personal healing is transforming into a time of purpose-bearing. You are being positioned not as one in need of rescue, but as one commissioned to rescue others. The fire that once purified you will now become the light that guides others home. So, as the heavens hold their breath, remember this: waiting is holy, but endless waiting is disobedience in disguise. The moment of stillness has reached its limit. Heaven will move with or without your agreement, but grace always prefers partnership. This is your final preparation before movement, your last pause before release. Mercy has done its work. Now, truth takes the stage. The time of waiting is over. The time of walking has begun. There's a rhythm to heaven, subtle, precise, deliberate, and when your life begins to move in sync with it, even chaos starts to make sense. That's what's happening now. You've been noticing the same number appearing everywhere on clocks, receipts, signs, even in dreams. It's not a coincidence. It's the prophetic number of alignment. Heaven's way of confirming that what was spoken in secret is now being sealed in reality. Chosen one. The number before you now is not random, it's divine pattern. 444, the mark of foundation, stability, and divine order. It appears when heaven rebuilds what was broken, when old walls fall and new structures rise. You are standing in that moment. God is establishing something that cannot be shaken, something eternal within you. When heaven repeats a number, it's like a sacred knock on the door of your spirit. Each repetition carries rhythm and revelation. 4 is the number of creation's completeness. 4 winds, 4 corners of the earth, 4 living creatures before the throne. It signifies wholeness on all sides. And when heaven multiplies it, it's not addition, it's confirmation. The message is clear. You're not wandering anymore. You're being positioned. Every scattered part of your life is being gathered, realigned, restored. You once prayed for balance, not realizing heaven's version of balance is not calm, it's construction. Sometimes God must shake foundations to rebuild them straight. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 2, verse 19. Nevertheless, God's solid foundation stands firm, sealed with this inscription: the Lord knows those who are His. And those words carry divine reassurance. The storms didn't erase your name, they engraved it deeper. The shaking you endured wasn't punishment, it was placement. The foundation being built under you now will not crumble like before. Heaven is fortifying your faith, anchoring your purpose, and re-establishing your authority in the spiritual realm. Think back over your journey, the instability, the loss, The moments when it felt like everything solid dissolved beneath you. That wasn't failure, it was excavation. God dug deep into your life to remove what couldn't hold eternity's weight. And now that the soil has been cleared, heaven is laying new stone truth. Humility, endurance, wisdom. These are the materials of divine architecture. You've spent years feeling unsteady, as if every victory came with collapse close behind. But this time will be different. This season isn't about temporary success, it's about permanence. The foundation being laid is not for comfort, it's for legacy. You are being established as a pillar in the house of God's movement on earth. The number 444 isn't a superstition, it's a seal. Each digit represents a layer of establishment, spirit, soul, and assignment. When they align, you stand unshakable. Heaven is confirming through this number that your spirit has matured enough to handle the next level of revelation. The structure of your life is ready for expansion. When you see this number, it's heaven whispering, "You are where I need you to be." It doesn't mean you've arrived, it means you've aligned. The foundation is solid, and the construction has begun. Chosen one, this is your cue to acknowledge heaven's message. Comment below the number 444, not as ritual, but as recognition. It's your way of saying, "Lord, I see your order. I receive your stability. I stand where you've planted me." When you write it, it's not pixels, it's prophecy. It becomes a declaration that your life, your mind, your heart are all under divine renovation. Each comment becomes a stone in the spiritual structure heaven is building among the chosen. You are not just responding individually, you are connecting collectively. Together, the faithful form a living temple of obedience, strength, and purpose. You've survived storms because you were meant to become shelter. The pain that once destabilized you is now the material God uses to strengthen others. Every tear became mortar. Every prayer became pillar. The structure rising within you is unbreakable because it's not built by your hands, it's built by His. So when the number appears again on a clock, glowing 444, or on a sign you weren't expecting, pause and smile. It's not random. It's a reminder that you are not forgotten, not drifting, not lost. You are being aligned, anchored, and anointed for permanence. Heaven has written your foundation in code only the chosen understand, and you, who kept standing when everything else fell, have proven worthy of the rebuild. The number is your seal, your sign, your confirmation. You are no longer in transition, you are in construction. Comment it, speak it, believe it. 444. Heaven hears, heaven marks, heaven moves. Every great move of God comes with a dividing line, a moment when truth no longer hides in the crowd. You have reached that moment now, the final purge of pretenders. Heaven is separating authenticity from appearance, devotion from display, purpose from performance. It's not judgment in wrath, it's judgment in refinement. What looks like loss is actually clarity. You've probably felt the shift already. People who once walked closely beside you have grown silent or distant. The spaces that once felt crowded suddenly feel smaller. Quieter, even lonely. Don't mistake that emptiness for rejection. It's purification. When God begins to elevate, He subtracts before He multiplies. What's leaving your life isn't punishment, it's pruning. But you must remember, false alliances can't carry divine assignments. The weight of heaven's truth cannot rest on counterfeit shoulders. You've been asking for deeper revelation, and revelation always comes with separation. When God reveals truth, it demands space. Pretenders cannot breathe in the altitude of authenticity. They suffocate where the pure in heart begin to soar. As the prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21, "How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him." Now, that question echoes even now, not just to the world, but within your own circle. The Spirit is sifting motives. He's asking who truly stands for light and who only visits when convenient. There can be no double allegiance in this hour. Heaven is drawing clear lines in the sand, and neutrality is no longer an option. Don't fear the exposure. Welcome it. Every mask that falls brings you closer to truth. Every false connection that ends creates space for divine replacement. God is not taking people from you. He's removing distractions sent to dilute your focus. Some were never enemies. They were simply assignments that expired. You completed what heaven required together, and now the path diverges. Release them without resentment. The pain of separation is proof of sincerity. It means you loved genuinely. But love must not hold hostage what heaven has released. When you cling to expired alignments, you suffocate the new ones forming in the background. What's leaving now clears the stage for what's arriving. And for those who were never pretenders but are still stepping away, understand this. Sometimes God hides his remnant in solitude before revealing them in strength. You are not being isolated. You are being insulated. Heaven places its true vessels in secret chambers until the appointed time. This purge also reaches inward. It's not just about the people around you, it's about the patterns within you. The Spirit is exposing pretenses you've carried unconsciously, the need to appear strong when you're exhausted, the habit of dimming your light so others won't feel insecure, the tendency to hide conviction behind politeness. These masks may have protected you once, but they cannot survive in the presence of unveiled truth. Every layer of pretense you remove brings you closer to purity, and purity is power. Heaven's authority flows freely only through vessels that no longer pretend. You are being refined into transparency, not perfection. God is not looking for flawless faces, but for hearts unguarded before him. This season will test your discernment. You will hear many voices claim revelation. Many hands claim anointing, but your spirit will know the difference. Truth recognizes truth. Don't be drawn by noise. Listen for weight. Heaven's voice doesn't rush, it resonates. When the true speaks, peace follows. When the false speaks, confusion lingers. You are witnessing a divine shaking, a reordering of spiritual structures. Some platforms will crumble, some names will fade, but light will remain. The pretenders cannot sustain what purity carries. Their collapse is not your concern. Your task is to remain unshaken, chosen one. Your circle may shrink, but your capacity is expanding. Heaven trusts you with solitude because it knows you won't fill the silence with compromise. You are being established as a standard bearer, a mirror of integrity in an age of imitation. The final purge is not punishment, it's promotion. It means you've reached the threshold where only the authentic can cross. The air is thinner here, but it's pure too. You will breathe differently, see differently, love differently. You'll realize that being set apart isn't isolation, it's insulation from corruption. So don't grieve what's leaving, celebrate what's lasting. When the dust settles, only the genuine will remain, and you will find yourself surrounded by those whose hearts burn for the same truth that burns in yours. This is the era of unveiling. The false will fall, and the true will rise, not through force, but through light. And when the light shines, it doesn't argue with darkness, it simply exposes it. You've walked through fire before, but this time the flames feel different, hotter, closer, personal, yet somehow you are not consumed. What once terrified you now tests you, and what once broke you now builds you. Heaven is showing you something sacred. Your name has been written in the fire, not for destruction, but for definition. Fire reveals what words cannot. It separates truth from illusion, strength from show, essence from excess. You are discovering that the fire didn't come to end you, it came to introduce you to yourself. Every chosen one must face this furnace of transformation, where everything false burns away, leaving only what cannot be destroyed. You've wondered why your trials seem so relentless, why they come wave after wave, as if heaven itself is testing your endurance. But trials don't come to reveal God's distance, they come to reveal His confidence in you. The intensity of your fire matches the magnitude of your calling. Those chosen for ordinary work face ordinary heat, but those destined to carry eternal weight must be refined in extraordinary flame. The ancient words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2, speak directly to this moment. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. That promise is not poetic comfort, it's divine covenant. It doesn't say if you walk through the fire, but when. Fire is inevitable for the chosen. It is both the test and the tool, both the enemy's weapon and heaven's workshop. What burns others refines you. Think of gold in its raw state. It carries impurities that dull its brilliance. Only intense heat can separate the pure from the impure. But notice, while the fire consumes the dross, it never destroys the gold. It reveals it. You are that gold. Every hardship has been heaven's refining process. Each flame, a stroke of divine craftsmanship, shaping your character into something unbreakable and luminous. Your suffering was never random, it was targeted refinement. Each betrayal burned away, dependence on human approval. Each loss purified your motives. Each delay exposed impatience and taught endurance. Even your silence was sacred. It burned off the noise that kept you from hearing God's whisper. And now, as you look back, you begin to see how the same flames that once made you cry now make you shine. The fire didn't erase your identity, it etched it deeper. You are stronger, wiser, softer, and sharper, all at once. You are no longer defined by what you went through, but by what survived within you. There is a moment in every refining process when the refiner knows the gold is ready, when he can see his reflection clearly in its surface. That's what heaven has been waiting for, its reflection in you. Every flame, every test, every tear was shaping that image. And now, as the smoke clears, heaven sees itself in your endurance. But don't think the process is over. The fire doesn't end when it stops hurting. It ends when it starts revealing. You're entering a new kind of heat, the fire of manifestation. This is when what was formed in private begins to glow in public. The same people who doubted your survival will now witness your shine. They'll see that you didn't escape the fire, you mastered it. Fire also carries memory. It leaves marks, not of shame, but of survival. Every scar on your soul tells a story that carries power. These are not wounds to hide, but testimonies to honor. When others see your calm in chaos, your peace in pressure, your love after loss, they will sense the fire you've walked through, and it will give them courage to face their own. You were never meant to live without heat. Flames are part of your calling now. They do not scare you anymore because you've learned their language. You understand that the fire which once threatened to consume you now obeys you. It bends around you, like light around glass, transforming but not destroying. So, stand tall in the glow of refinement. You are not the ashes, you are the ember that refused to die. Heaven didn't save you from the fire, it saved you in it, so that the world could see the truth. Divinity dwells in durability. Your name has been written in flame, not as a warning, but as a witness, wherever you walk next. The heat of your faith will ignite courage in others. You are the living proof that what walks through fire with God never walks out the same. You've come so far, chosen one. The smoke has cleared, and your reflection gleams with quiet strength. You've walked through battles that others could not survive, and still, you stand. Heaven now whispers a truth. You've been too humble to believe you are being crowned for obedience, not for perfection, not for popularity, but for persistence. You kept walking when you could have quit, kept believing when silence felt endless, kept shining when darkness pressed close, and heaven never stopped watching. Obedience has always been the purest currency of the kingdom. While the world trades applause for effort, heaven measures faithfulness in unseen moments. Every yes you whispered in solitude built invisible altars. Every tear you wiped away became water for unseen seeds. And now, those seeds are blooming into a crown, one forged not of gold, but of endurance. We find in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, having stood the test. That person will receive the crown of life the Lord has promised." That's your story. Every trial you faced was a test, not of strength, but of loyalty. The crown isn't given for surviving, it's given for staying true. You didn't let bitterness take root. You didn't let weariness win. And though your knees trembled, you bowed rather than broke. That's why heaven now calls your name with joy. But this moment isn't just about reward, it's about responsibility. The crown isn't jewelry, it's a mantle. It carries weight. Heaven crowns those who can carry compassion, not ego. Your authority will flow from empathy, your influence from humility. The crown means you now carry light for others, still lost in the tunnels you've already walked through. Picture it like this: a torch passed down from ancient hands, burning bright, steady, and sacred. The light you carry doesn't belong to you alone. It belongs to every soul who still wanders in shadows. When you lift it high, you remind the broken that darkness doesn't win, that obedience builds light. If these words reach the tender places of your heart, if you can feel heaven's quiet confirmation, then let this be a moment of shared flame. Like this message, not for recognition, but as a signal fire. Each click becomes another spark, spreading across a vast night. Together, these small flames create constellations of faith that light up the weary sky of this world. When you share, imagine casting your torch across the sea, somewhere far away. A soul drowning in silence might see that flicker and remember hope. Sharing isn't about numbers, it's about nourishment. You feed others with the same light that once saved you. If you subscribe, you're choosing consistency over coincidence. You're saying, I want to stay connected to this current of truth. Think of it as joining a river, each message, a fresh stream that keeps your soul hydrated in a desert world. Staying close ensures the flame doesn't flicker out when storms rise. And if you ever feel stirred to donate, do it not as transaction, but as tribute. A crown is heavy, yes, but its shine is meant to be multiplied. Your gift becomes oil for the lamps, fuel for the journey, light for those who have not yet seen the dawn. Each offering whispers, let the fire keep burning. Heaven counts not the amount, but the alignment, the willingness to give, so that revelation can reach farther. Now, pause. Feel the invisible crown resting upon you, not weighty, but radiant. It's not made of metal, it's woven of meaning. Every strand is a moment of surrender. Every gem, a testimony of grace. And when the world looks at you, they'll sense it not by what you wear, but by what you carry. This crown marks a turning point. You are no longer a wanderer, you are a witness. The world needs the light you've earned through obedience, the wisdom shaped by pain, the gentleness learned through fire. Carry it humbly, but boldly. When you walk, walk as one aware that heaven's glory rests upon your shoulders. And when you read this, take a moment to respond, not for me, but for the movement heaven is creating through you. Comment below, speak from the heart. Maybe one simple truth about what this crown means to you. Let your words become another stone in the altar of testimony we are building together. Someone, somewhere, will read your comment and realize they, too, are still being refined, not rejected. Beloved chosen one, the crown is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of your reign in purpose. You've proven you can be trusted with trials. Now you will be trusted with triumph. Heaven doesn't crown survivors, it crowns servants. And you, humble and unshaken, have become both. The air feels lighter now. The storms have passed. The fire has cooled. And for the first time in years, you can breathe without fear. But in that stillness, heaven whispers again, not with warning, not with command, but with revelation. This is the unveiling of the final truth, the one truth that weaves every message, every test, every sleepless night into a single, radiant thread. You thought this third message came as a repetition, a reminder of what you'd missed before. But now you see it was never punishment, it was preparation. Heaven was not echoing itself to scold you. It was layering understanding. Each message, a brushstroke, painting the full picture of your purpose. You weren't being chased by the same lesson, you were being led deeper into it. The truth is this, your life has always been under divine orchestration. Even when it looked like chaos, every detour, every disappointment, every season of delay, none of it was wasted. What felt like circles were actually spirals, carrying you higher each time you returned to the same test. Heaven's repetition wasn't monotony, it was mastery. You are standing now in the place where revelation meets realization. You've stopped asking, "Why me?" and started whispering, "Now I see." That shift is the birth of wisdom. It's the moment when faith graduates into understanding. As the Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." That verse isn't theory, it's the very rhythm your life has danced to. Even in pain, the threads of your story have always been working toward alignment. Even when they tangled, what once felt like abandonment was actually divine rearrangement. God wasn't silent, he was strategic. This final truth reveals the mystery behind every unanswered prayer. Heaven never says no without reason. It says, "Not yet," until the foundation is ready. You see now why certain dreams had to wait, because if they had come sooner, they would have destroyed you. The strength you carry now was born in waiting rooms, not victory halls. You were never being punished for being slow. You were being protected while being sculpted. Every time you thought you were forgotten, heaven was adding detail to your design, like a craftsman refining a masterpiece. God didn't rush your making because eternity requires precision. You are that masterpiece, not flawless, but faithful, not complete, but consecrated. The cracks in your vessel aren't defects, they are places where glory leaks through. The light that shines through you now comes from the wounds that once made you hide. This truth is both sobering and liberating. Nothing was wasted. Not one tear. Not one heartbreak. Not one failure. Everything conspired to carve you into the vessel you are now. Every no was a redirection. Every loss, a lesson. Every silence, a sanctification. You were never walking in circles, you were walking in cycles of refinement. And now, the repetition ends. The third call was heaven's confirmation that the making is complete. What comes next is not more testing, it's commissioning. The refiner steps back. The sculptor lays down his tools. The author closes the chapter with satisfaction. You are ready for the next page. Still, don't mistake readiness for rest. The revelation you carry is not meant to stay confined within you. Heaven doesn't reveal final truth to satisfy curiosity. It reveals it to ignite purpose. You will find that, as this truth settles deeper, your words will start to carry weight. Your presence will start to bring peace. And your silence will begin to speak volumes. People will sense something different about you, but won't have the language for it. That's because you're walking in revelation frequency, where the natural cannot fully comprehend the supernatural shift. You don't have to explain it, you just have to embody it. The final truth isn't about what's coming next, it's about what's already been accomplished. You are no longer waiting for purpose, you are walking in it. The same God who once seemed distant now moves through every word you speak, every step you take, every life you touch. You are no longer seeking confirmation, you have become it. Heaven has resounded 3 times, not to warn, but to seal. What began as message is now manifestation. What once felt like divine pursuit has become divine partnership. The call is no longer from outside. It now burns from within. Chosen one. This is your revelation. You were never being summoned to find the truth. You are the truth being revealed. The living testament of mercy, endurance, and divine design. The final truth isn't written on paper, It's inscribed in your story. The wind is still, but the atmosphere feels alive, thick with presence, holy with completion. Heaven has reached the final page of this divine dialogue, and yet it doesn't end in silence. It ends in seal. You can sense it, the weight of something sacred, pressing gently on your spirit. Not heavy with burden, but full of peace. This is the eternal seal. Heaven has not just spoken, it has finished speaking. The circle is complete. Every word that echoed through your journey, from the first whisper to the third summons, has found its place. You are no longer the one being called. You are the one being commissioned. The time of awakening gives way to the time of walking. You've been rewritten, not by circumstance, but by revelation. The patterns of your past no longer define your present. They've been absorbed into your purpose. What once looked like fragments now fit perfectly into heaven's design. You finally understand why it had to be this way, why you were delayed, refined, and tested. The timing wasn't cruel, it was calibrated. The seal of heaven is not made of wax or gold. It's invisible, yet undeniable. It rests on your spirit like morning dew, soft, pure, unmistakable. It signifies ownership, authority, and completion. It's the mark of those who belong, who've passed through the waters, endured the fires, and emerged not flawless, but faithful, as the prophet Ezekiel recorded in chapter 9, verse 4. Go throughout the city of Jerusalem and put a mark on the foreheads of those who grieve and lament over all the detestable things that are done in it. End of fact. That mark, ancient yet eternal, was the sign of divine recognition. It said, "These are mine." And now, that same mark rests upon you. You've been sealed, not because you are perfect, but because you chose purity over pretense, truth over comfort, endurance over escape. The seal declares to both heaven and darkness, this one belongs to the light. Andro, in this moment, you may feel a strange blend of peace and purpose, like the calm that follows a storm when the air is clear but charged. That's the evidence of sealing. Heaven's signature sits over your name, and everything that once fought to define you now has to release you. The cycle is closed. It's not the end of your story, but the beginning of a new chapter written in partnership with eternity. You're not waiting for destiny anymore, you are walking as destiny fulfilled. The mark you carry now will draw and repel, attract light and expose darkness. For wherever the sealed walk, atmosphere shifts. You'll find that some will be drawn to you without knowing why. They'll sense something ancient in your presence, something that stirs remembrance in their spirit. Others will resist you, not because of who you are, but because of what you represent, a mirror reflecting truth they're not yet ready to face. Don't take either reaction personally. Both are proof of your sealing. This seal also means protection. What once reached you now recoils. The attacks that once wounded now glance off invisible armor. The enemy recognizes what heaven marks. You are covered not by luck, not by logic, but by divine decree. And beyond protection, there is purpose. The seal isn't a trophy to admire, it's a tool to build. You are sent now as a messenger, a torchbearer, a living letter written by the Spirit for others to read. Every word of your life will now echo heaven's language. The same power that called you now speaks through you. You have become the message. You are no longer waiting for confirmation. Your existence is confirmation. You walk with a peace that defies circumstance, a strength that doesn't boast, a wisdom that doesn't rush. The seal has settled, and with it comes stillness, not the stillness of emptiness, but the stillness of assurance. The heavens have recorded this day. The scroll that bore your name has been closed, not as a dismissal, but as completion. The ink of grace has dried. The witnesses, angels, and ancestors nod in silent agreement. It is done. From this moment on, your steps are not random, they are radiant. Wherever you go, the mark goes with you. It's the invisible signature of belonging, the eternal reminder that you are heaven's message made flesh, chosen one. The voice that once called from afar now lives within you. You carry the seal of the eternal, the fragrance of fulfillment, the authority of alignment. You are not a seeker anymore, you are the sent. And when you breathe your next prayer, heaven won't echo back a response, it will move with you. Because the seal means oneness, the end of separation, the beginning of union. The third message has done its work. The truth has been told. The seal is set. And now, eternity whispers. One final word. Go. The final word has been spoken, but the echo continues inside you, around you, through you. Heaven's message doesn't end when the screen fades. It begins when you carry it forward. You are no longer a listener, you are a light bearer, a voice of awakening in a world that keeps forgetting how to feel. If these words have stirred something sacred within you, let that awakening ripple outward, like this message, not as a gesture, but as agreement, a silent nod to heaven that says, I've heard, and I remember. When you share, imagine scattering sparks across a dark field. Somewhere, someone scrolling in silence will stumble upon a flame that reminds them they're not forgotten. Comment below, speak from the heart, or even write a single word that defines what this journey has meant to you. Each comment becomes a testimony, a stone of remembrance, a trace of light for others to follow. And if you subscribe, stay close to this stream of revelation. This isn't just content, it's communion. Together, we are building a sanctuary of words where heaven still speaks and hearts still listen. You have heard the truth. Chosen one. Now, go and live it.